everyone. And notice I'm not saying good because it's not a good morning. This is going to be a rough ride. Get ready, everybody. But welcome to the upper deck. We have a little bit of breaking news, and the whole show's going to be hot takes. And I want to say hello to you, Ciarra, first. How's everything going? How are you feeling today?
Well, I'm going to say good morning and try to be a little positive, but it's been very hard to be a Yankees fan this week. This organization is so unserious, and I'm so sick of them gaslighting me as a fan. How do I unsubscribe from this toxic relationship with them? Because I don't know if I can handle it anymore.
Yep. And so in turn, we plan on having everyone in the chat, be gaslit as well with everything we're going to throw down today. Sharing is caring, everyone, right? And I want to shout out everyone that was here on time and early. Early attendance awards go to CT, Lori, Jared, John the Beagle Dad, CT Cards. And I also want to say hi to Michael and Jordan, and John the Beagle Dad, and Yadira, Jared, and Sean. Hey, great to see you, Shayna. Great to see you. Thanks for joining us this morning. And all right, so before we light the flames and fan them, let me put up Spencer's trivia question of the week. So in 1964, the Yankees faced the Cardinals in the World Series. The Yankees were up 3-2, but the Cards won games 6 and 7 to claim the title. This Yankees player later joined the Cardinals and helped them win the World Series again in 1967. Who was that Yankee player? And Karen, I thought I said your name. I'm sorry. My sister Karen, for crying out loud. Karen, look what I'm wearing. Beautiful necklace you gave me for my birthday with plethora of other things you gave me.
Don't gaslight her.
I'm sorry. And Eunice, great to see you. And I see a guest in the chat already. Lori says Maris. Jared says Maris. Sean says Maris. Perhaps to all three of you. As always, we'll tell you at the end of the show. Yeah. And thanks as always, Spencer, for the great question. So let's start easy. Let's take it a little easy. Ciarra, what do you got buzzing in your head about this team?
Well, first of all, like Lynn said, thank you for joining because it's going to be a little bit of a rough ride today. Super disappointing. So yesterday we gave the Cardinals their first win in Yankee Stadium since Game 5 of the World Series in 1964. Now, I know it was bound to happen. It's been about a bazillion years, right? Like, it's going to happen. But did it have to be yesterday? And did it have to be in that fashion? Like, I would rather lose 8-0 than 6-5. That one-run game, those always hurt more to me. Especially when, Stanton, who is probably the worst pinch hitter in all of pinch hitting history, got up, he drowned out all that noise, all that hate, and hit a bases clearing double that was probably about a foot away from being a grand slam.
Yep.
And his teammates in the 9th inning couldn't help him out.
Right.
So that's extremely disappointing. Pitch clock violation to Oswaldo Cabrera was absolute BS. Garbage. I hate the pitch clock. It's one of the dumbest things that have ever happened to baseball. And the fact that he struck out on a batter's pitch clock violation. When does that happen?
I was thinking Angel Hernandez came back from retirement because and this up was so, and I saw the guys also saying this in the chat before we even jumped on, that, pitcher friendly max. We need a new criteria for what we saw from that up yesterday.
They all went to the school, the Hunter Wendelstadt School of Umpiring. And I'm reminding everybody, Hunter Wendelstadt, whatever his name is the guy who pissed off Aaron Judge in the beginning of the season and is responsible for this ridiculous tear that Judge has gone on. So they must have all just went to that guy's school because he does own his own umping school. And I don't know how, because he's trash too.
So, look what Lori is asking.
Oh, do you really want to talk about it, Lori?
This is the part of the breaking news.
I am so frustrated with the Yankees right now. we are in the middle of a pennant race. We have a good shot at winning the World Series if we make the right moves. And Cashman just said, you know what? I don't care. He just said, I don't care. We're packing it in. We're only a game and a half up on the freaking Orioles right now. We should have ran away with this damn division already. But you know what we did today, Lori? You know what we did? We called up, we reinstated Anthony Rizzo, which we knew was happening, and at this point we need him because Ben Rice was super duper struggling, so he went down to AAA. And DJ LeMay, who hasn't been any better.
We all
We
agree with that.
Yeah, we also sent Will Warren back to AAA, which thank God, because honestly, first Yankee pitcher in history ever to allow at least 24 runs and 31 hits in his first 5 career games. He was never ready to be up here in the first place, and the fact that they kept him up here was just an absolute joke. So we sent him down to AAA, and then we recalled Marinaccio from the Witness Protection Program. Finally, we recalled Efros, who I forgot even existed because he's been injured since 1964. And we called up outfielder Duke Ellis, who we picked up 6 days ago off of waivers.
And when Ciarra and I were talking before we jumped on, I'm like, who the fuck now? What? Duke Ellington? What'd you say? Like, we have Jazz Chisholm and now Duke Ellington. Who is Duke Ellison? I mean, I'm not going to say his name right because hopefully we won't even have to say it much at all. But tell us about Duke Ellison.
Duke Ellis, he's a Grey's Anatomy character. Like that's all I got for you. Is he Ellis Gray's son? Like I don't know. He has 4 at bats in the major leagues and no stats. He has 1 run and 4 stolen bases. That's it. My guy can run, and which is great, because the Yankees can't freaking run. Volpe's legs are broken apparently. He's the only one that can run, and he hasn't done it. So that's fantastic.
Well, if you're going to pinch run the
guy, exactly, and that's fantastic if you're going to pinch run the guy. But like, come on, let's be for real right now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so Schmidt is another one that Cashman is saying Schmidt, like in a couple of weeks into September, we'll probably see him. He should be up by then. It's insane to me that what you're just sharing with us. and Ellis is an outfielder, right?
Yes.
So
I mean, the Yankees will probably try to make him an infielder because we just do the craziest things. So who knows?
But to not bring Schmidt back up or out of the dugout is a travesty to me. They were going to relegate him to the pen as it was. And yeah, Jordan, you're right. One of the pitchers needs to go down for Clark at some point, but sooner rather than later, like today. Yeah, we're getting and remember, we're getting Marinaccio and Efros back, but don't expect them to, do the full thing because they're coming back. So as would be Schmidt, but I just think we have we have more options, no pun intended, on Schmidt because if we need him to pivot to the rotation, and that I'll give away one of my hot takes, he shouldn't even be relegated to the pen, but he gives us some of the depth we need there. But
I mean, let's not forget about the other 75 people we have in rehab right now. We still have Ian Hamilton, who they just put on the 60-day IL retroactive when they picked up Mr. Duke Ellis from Grey's Anatomy. We still have John Birdie, who honestly, I don't even know why the guy's on the team at this point because I forgot he existed. We still have Trevino, who also has not pitched since 1964.
Yep.
There's some things that happen. And you know what? Clark Schmidt is the first one that deserved a spot back on this roster. Forget everybody else. Second best pitcher behind Luis Gil before he went down with an injury.
Right.
Okay. Clark Schmidt was having an unbelievable season that nobody, outside of me, president of the Clark Schmidt fan club, expected him to have. So I don't know, man. Maybe Duke can pitch, and we just don't know that. Maybe he's like IKF, and he can play all these positions, and we just got to see. The only good thing about him is he's still kind of young. He's born in 1998, so what, that makes him 26. So he's not like over 30.
Okay, but anyway, and Lori's saying he has speed. Lori knows the skinny on Duke Ellington. Okay.
4 stolen bases.
Yeah, 4 stolen bases, but yes, a total waste of a spot. Yeah, and FJ, hey FJ, didn't see you come in. Taking Rice's place as the designated pitch runner. Okay, but how often do we really need that pinch runner? If that's the reason, when we have so many other needs and holes, might as well call Billy Joel to complete the band, right, Sean? Yeah, I'm with you.
Might as well call Stevie Wonder at this point.
Yeah. So, and Nosebleeds, they're saying that he's young and has years of control. So,
why can't his years of control stay in AAA? Like,
yes,
I'm with you, Nosebleed, and I think that's a great reason to pick him up off the wire. But we are in a pennant race. We are only a game and a half up on the Orioles, who have been playing terribly, by the way. Yep. We should, everyone said we had this quote unquote easy schedule in August. Why haven't we run away with the damn division? Why?
And by the way, can we all agree to stop saying we're heading into an easy stretch? Because we have been schooled all season long on this. Here we are with another rubber game Sunday to prove it, right?
Maybe it's us. Maybe we're the problem.
Maybe we're the problem?
Yeah, because it's always the weekend games. It's always the weekend series. And
maybe
on Sunday,
we need to cancel the show altogether. Are they gonna? Is Pat's gonna cancel us? Is the network gonna call and say, "Sorry guys, you're bad for ratings"? I mean, maybe we have to find a different day. Maybe we come in the dark of night and do our show. Ooh. Where they won't hear us.
The upper deck after dark.
Yeah, way after dark. Hey Gregory, good to see you. Yeah, you're right. I mean, this is all big. You're very polite with the WTH, but I'm gonna say what the fuck. Yeah. I just it really is I just really feel like unserious isn't even a serious enough word. And this isn't new to us. This, like, they always have to do this to us, and nothing ever makes sense. And the fact is that we make, we have common sense. Maybe it's our fault. Maybe we need to yeah. Oh, and thanks FJ for reminding us of this. 14-12 in August. The easy stretch is over. And the O's have the easy stretch now. But I think that as we went, the O's could go too. I mean, that they're playing the Rockies last night. Right now they lost last night. Let's see how that works for them. But
yeah,
and yeah,
I mean,
right.
Well, if we want to talk about records and teams, whenever, here's a fun stat for you guys for records. Okay, so as of the 29th, so just a few days ago, the Yankees are 47-30 on the season against teams above 500, right? Teams below 500, so the Rockies, the White Sox, the Nationals, all those quote-unquote easy teams, we were 31-26. We do not play well against teams below 500. And I guess in the grand scheme of things, we won't see any teams below 500 in the playoffs, but we have to beat them to get to the playoffs, do we not? So can we figure it out? I don't know what the problem is. I really don't.
No, you have to play as if you're already in the postseason all season long. And that just has not been the case ever. So and Eunice, you're right. Every game is not a given. And playoff scoreboard watching doesn't count. Take care of the business. Yeah, day by day, take care of the business. We didn't take the Nationals seriously. What teams have we taken seriously except the O's and the Red Sox, who we really, I mean,
Honestly, only the Orioles, because the rest of the AL East, like the Orioles only have
I
one
know,
game up
but
on us on the season, but like the rest of the AL East, we've played like
oh,
trash.
right, I know, but for some reason, oh, we're facing the Red Sox. Get
Yeah.
ready, everybody, because it's just so embedded, in our DNA by now that that's the thing. But Ken, good to see you. So you popping in. And so I guess this just leads us. Let's go positive for a minute.
Wait,
And
I have one more. I have one
no, no,
more
go. Okay, go.
because since the Yankees are gaslighting us, I just need to know everyone's thoughts on this. So when it comes to Jason Dominguez, we are not going to see him in the postseason at this point, right? Like it's a given. They are protecting his rookie of the year status.
Yep.
Now, me personally, I think if we had a conversation with Dominguez, he would say he would rather win a World Series versus be rookie of the year because while it's all fun, to win a rookie of the year award, does it really mean anything at the end of the day if we don't have any World Series rings, right? Like, let's say you go your whole career and the only thing you have to show for it is a rookie of the year award. What was the point? What was the point? We are freaking trying to win a World Series and we're trying to re-sign Juan Soto because let's face it, guys, we are not guaranteed Soto. Steve Cohen is the richest owner in baseball. He could very well, and I hate saying this, so to any of my Mets friends, I'm only saying this once. He could very well be across the pond, across the bridge, whatever you want to call it, in Queens next season because Steve Cohen has that money. And I love Soto, but that's what he wants. He wants the money.
I mean, it's a business. It's a business. So of course, and well, and if Soto doesn't feel that way, look at his agent, and that's all you need to know. So they're going to go for the money, and yeah. So everything that made us nervous at the start of this season, expect extra roll aids, order them now, waiting to see what throws down for Juan Soto. And so, and yeah, and Jared saying Yankees are also 5-21 when trailing after the first inning. Okay, yeah,
Brutal.
great.
That's brutal.
Wow, that just gave me a extra shiver. But um, so let's pivot just a minute. What am I putting up?
I'm just laughing because we're gonna try to be positive for a minute.
Just a minute, because once we get to hot takes, we're back off the rails again. But let's talk about who's been a hot dog this week. So hear me out on my first one, because it's not the pure definition of hot dog, but Jazz Chisholm is a hot dog for me. Because and what made it occur to me, I'm team chat Jazz. I think it was of all the moves made, and they waited right to the deadline, if you remember, like on July 30th, because that's how they do. He was acquired, and back then we're like, who? So you know what? Maybe there's hope for Ellis Ellington. We don't know, but because we were the same way about Jazz at the beginning. And so he's hitting a franchise best 7 homers in his first 12 games with the club. And that even despite his injury, and I don't know why I'm doing this to his elbow, I'm doing like an anatomy lesson for you. Chisholm has been consistent. He's bashed 9 home runs, stolen 5 bases, and has a 1.029 ops since debuting. So he ranks 8th in the MLB for in ops. So for players with a minimum of 8 appearances.
Yeah.
So we don't get to put him there, and he never belongs in the doghouse fully. So I wanted to give him a mention because I think he was a good get, and we need him to continue. I mean, we have him, but I don't want to see him option down, is what I'm saying. I think we're going to need him.
Yeah, I love Jazz. I think he brings something to the clubhouse that was needed. He brings what Doogie was supposed to bring, but Doogie has played so poorly lately that he hasn't provided that spark. And watching Jazz during the Little League World Series and just like the way he was interacting with the little kids, let me just say, I love baseball players who go out of their way to put little kids first, because at the end of the day, this is a kid's game. And those are the people that you're playing for, right? Like those are the people who are going to be your fans for the rest of their lives. And that's why I'm such a huge fan of Harrison Bader, because he's so good, like giving back to the community and little kids and, you know, all that good stuff. So seeing Jazz do those things, I love it. And I'm glad he's a Yankee. Now, me personally, the only person that I could think that even deserves the hot dog award this week is Austin Wells. And let's be for real. If he played more often, we would see more of this from Austin Wells. But every time Wells hits a home run, he all but guarantees himself a spot on the bench the next day. So he had his first multi-home run game. And after that third inning home run, his OPS, it went up to 1.049. I kind of laughed about it when someone else brought it up recently, but I'm getting on board. Wells could very much be the AL Rookie of the Year this season. And I just wish the Yankees would stop messing around and play him. Just play him. Stop platooning him. Stop platooning him. Garrett Cole, I love you, but stop being a crybaby. Austin Wells will be your catcher. Get it together.
Yep. I am picking up everything you brought down about Wells. And, you know, weren't we all on the edge of our seat to see if they would play him 2 days in a row and see him yesterday? So what does that tell us about today? I don't know if the lineup's out yet. I know that everyone in the chat, there's somebody in there that's going to be scoping for it. But
yep, I got it. Yeah. It's up.
Oh, let's pause.
You guys ready? All right. Whoa. So you know, Nestor Cortez is pitching. Please be nasty today. So leading it off, best leadoff hitter in all of baseball right now, Gleyber Torres, followed by Soto in right field, our captain Judge in center field. Wells is catching. It's like they're listening.
3 days in a row.
Stanton is DHing, so shout out to Boone for not putting him on the bench because he does it to him as well. Chisholm is playing third. Oh, and Anthony Rizzo, the Italian stallion, has returned, and he is playing first base, which means Anthony Volpe, who's batting eighth, should look a lot better, okay? And then Doogie, he's earned his spot batting ninth. He is rounding out the lineup. I cannot wait for Anthony Rizzo to hit a home run so all of his haters can shut up.
That's right. So, wow. So 3 days in a row. That is that's good news. But yeah, Cole, you know what? You were a Cy Young. We're glad for you. You're not having a Cy Young year now. Egyptian magician, I know earlier up you called him a prima donna. I don't think you're wrong. You know, he is a bit of a prima donna as much as he is a generous, you know, player as well. And helping everyone out in the clubhouse. And so yeah, so Rizzo, you know, and I believe you're talking about Rizzo here, Egyptian magician. Lou, good morning. Good to see you. Now let's give Rizzo some grace offensively, right, guys? Because I know we won't, and I know we really shouldn't, and I know we don't have time to give anyone grace. But, you know, let's give him a moment to, you know, reacclimate, adjust. I'm really interested in seeing what he does at the plate, but I'm going to manage my expectations on that. Are you going to do the same, Ciarra, or are you just flying high on
so
it?
I'm going to go by the big brother saying and expect the unexpected. I have listen, if he doesn't play well, I'm not going to be upset, but I have all the faith in the world in Rizzo because everyone likes to talk about, you know, the first half of the season, but let's not forget that the Yankees literally broke Rizzo's brain and kind of just left him out there to die. So maybe this rehab was exactly what he needed in the first place, you know? Maybe that freak arm injury was just a blessing in disguise for Rizzo and for us. And let's not forget, so Ben Rice and DJ LeMahieu aren't getting on base. At least Rizzo can get hit by a pitch, right? He's king of getting hit by pitch. So, and he's really good at taking walks. So even if he doesn't get a hit, the Italian stallion gets on base. That's all I'm saying.
That's right. And you may be the only one not looking forward to Rizzo's return. And he's been gone a really long time, but he's been spotty. I'm not going to deny he was spotty. I'm not going to deny that. But early on in the season, nobody was complaining about Rizzo and was optimistic that okay, you know, lack of concussion protocols be damned. He came back and had a good start of the season, and then the injury started showing its tail, and the rest we all know. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to pre-injury Rizzo coming
And
back.
let's
Um,
let's not forget he has a Gold Glove. Okay, so that's something that we're lacking in the infield right now.
yeah, and Gregory's making a good point. Yeah, he does. He hits
Mhm.
to all fields, which obviously makes it harder for people to plan on where they're positioning themselves in the field. Whoa, okay, Lou, we're not at hot takes yet. Um,
Whoa.
uh,
I think Lou needs to go on a timeout.
yeah,
Just kidding.
I think you're benched, Lou. Um, I'm gonna put you as a certified teacher. I'm putting you in timeout. I hereby anoint you in timeout for at least 5 minutes. And then you're gonna have to tell me why you were in timeout and what you'll do
Look,
better next
okay.
time.
So just reading the comments, I get it, guys. Rizzo did not have a good first half, right? And this is not me making up excuses for him. Last season, the first half of 2023, Rizzo was one of the best players in baseball, right? He collided with Fernando Tatis Jr., that big fat jerk at first base. He got injured. From there on, you could tell he wasn't the same player. From May to August, they pretended like everything was fine because Yankees medical staff is trash. Let's be for real. Okay. Then in August, they were like, oh, yeah, by the way, Anthony Rizzo has a concussion. So now he played from May to August with a scrambled brain. That's going to leave long term effects, right? So then coming into 2024, he was still dealing with those post concussion, whatever you want to call it. And then my poor guy broke his freaking arm because he's just like the most unlucky person on earth, right? However, what I'm saying is he finally got a rehab stint, what is exactly what he's needed this whole time. He's looked very good in that rehab. And I've heard from, the birds and the bees that AAA is where the best pitching is because that's where everyone's rehabbing. So all I'm saying is Rizzo's going to look really good when he comes back. And a lot of people are going to rue the day, if you will.
Yep. Yep. And MBRX, thanks for joining us. Is saying don't blame Tatis. Blame the. It's always easy.
I wasn't blaming him. I just was calling him a big fat jerk because it was his knee.
Yeah. Keep your knee out of this. Yeah, and Gregory Booney, yeah, I don't know what the thing is about Cabrera, and we're gonna get into that in hot takes as well. So I'm with you there. We're gonna get there. But let's go down the list because and notice that the first name we didn't mention, probably for the first time ever, was Judge. So I saw a few people saying Nestor in the chat is their hot dog. Full on agree with that. Two solid outings the past two times out. He's on the bump today, and I think he's going to bring it. I think we're finally seeing Nestor as more adjusted, as Ciarra has pointed out before. The pitch clock was a problem for him because he couldn't pull all his shenanigans that were working. So like his magic trick of like distracting people and then hitting them with a pitch. That all went away with the new contract. And so, but he's adjusted to that now, and he's back to doing it, but within the time frames. He's still doing some of his abracadabra moves, but locating well. And his velo is always going to be what it is, but he's been solid and consistent and doing a good mix of pitches for the most part. What do you say about Nestor? Ciarra?
He's looked a lot better. He's had 3 solid outings recently. I mean, he's a 5 starter. He's doing exactly what we need him to do. I don't need him to be lights out every pitch. I just need him to go 6 innings and not give up more than 4 runs. Like that's really all I can ask for.
Right. You got that right, Sean. King of Funk. Let's do the pretzel. Let's do the rock. Let's do the I'm going to turn back and look at you guy on second base throw. Yeah. I mean, he's definitely got the funk. Even Lou's agreeing that Nestor's playing well lately. That's high praise for you, Lou, and you're now out of timeout for saying that. So I also had Rodon as or I think you did. So Rodon is a hot dog. Did you guys realize, and can you explain to me how it is? Well, Rodon has 14 wins this season, and he's third in MLB for number of wins after Skubal and Sale. So is it that so much of his whining and petulance stays in my head, and he's still sort of the problem child that you have to worry about annoying the principal and being suspended. But you know what? By the numbers, by the performance, he's really. I mean, Cole's not the one up there um, among Skubal and Sal. So I think he's a hot dog. Ciarra?
Oh, so I have personal beef with Mr. Rodon at this point in the season, and I'm happy for him that he has 14 wins. However, the rest of his stats just like haven't been that great. But here's my theory, guys, and it's just a theory, and I'm totally being sarcastic and gaslighting you. By the way, I'm convinced that the team hates Stroman and they play very poorly when he pitches, and they love Rodon or they're scared of him because he throws things, and they play very well when he pitches, and that's why he has 14 wins.
Ooh, little conspiracy stirring here. It is an interesting, fact. And conspiracy is not based on facts. I can't call it that, but it's a fact. I mean, the guys really do not show up for Stroh, and certainly not to the level that you're right that they show up for Rodon. I'm wondering if it's because they're like, oh crap, we got Rodon tonight. We better up our game. Let's do extra reps and get as built up as we can for it. So yeah, everyone, no one's impressed with Rodon, so nobody's saying go buying my bid on the hot dog award. And you're right, it shouldn't be because of the number of wins. Um, and and Eunice, you're not wrong. So sad that in 2024, 14 wins is third in MLB. Um, yeah. And what do you think that that's about? Do you think it's about all of the restrictions on pitchers now? I don't. I think we're long past the era of sticky ball.
No,
So
100%. I hate all the things that are happening to pitchers right now. We are in an era of baseball where guys are throwing as hard as they can, and it's more about throwing hard than it is about mechanics. And I think that's one of the biggest issues in baseball. And I think the pitch clock um, has amplified that, if I'm being honest. And then you take away the sticky stuff. So then we're throwing as hard as we can. There's a pitch clock. There's no sticky stuff. Pitchers are dropping like flies left and right. At the beginning of the season, every time you turned on MLB Network, there was another pitcher that was affected, either whether it was a shoulder or an elbow. So it's just not the same as it was 20 years ago. I'm sorry, that's just how it's evolved.
yep. And everyone in the chat picked Wells, and so did we. What do you feel about Wells as the hot dog this week?
Yeah, like I said at the beginning of the slide, Wells is the only one I have as a hot dog. I can't give it to anybody else, not even Judge. Like I mean, I'll save it for Doghouse, but Wells is the only one that didn't make me mad this week.
Yep. That's pretty much what I feel as well. What about Verdugo?
So I gave Verdugo a little sizzle. And because
Okay.
I've probably been Verdugo's biggest hater for the past month. But in his last 7 games, he is hitting 346. We're taking baby steps. So I'm surprised that he wasn't benched today because that's just, what we do. However, I still need Doogie to get it together. I love him. Left field we haven't had a good left fielder since Brett Gardner. So I do appreciate Doogie in that aspect because last year's experiment of left field was just, I still have nightmares about it. So I give him a sizzle. He can be out of the doghouse today.
Okay. Yeah. So we're giving him the little cocktail wiener this week, and I'm okay with that. Um, we're both Stanton fans, and so I think it's difficult. I would understand why people would say, why are you even calling him a hot dog, Lynn? But um, the thing is,
he did his job.
He does his job. Like I say, every time I feel like I'm defending him. Why I have him as a hot dog this week is because, yeah, it was unfortunate that it didn't leave the field yesterday and the night before, by the way, where he missed a home run by feet, but he's the one that got the team with a win at their grasp with that base clearing triple yesterday. And so again, like I said last week, there's a little theme going on with Stanton where, yes, he was brought on to do exactly that, the 800-mile-per-hour out of the park and landing in New Jersey. But the thing is, he's also doing smaller things like he did in the past couple of games. So it was really on the team to close out that bottom of the ninth, and unfortunately it didn't happen. But we were down by 3 at that point when he did that. Cleared the bases, got us within 1, and we just couldn't finish it off, unfortunately. And we can't be mad at Wells, because if it wasn't for Wells, is the one carrying the team this week, not Judge. It's been totally Wells. So yeah, so to me, he's a hot dog. If you want to diminish him down to like a junior wiener, that's fine. But to me, I like to give him his due when I can.
Yeah, so Stan's one of those players that I'm always ready to throw hands over because he doesn't get enough credit for what he does for this team and just who he is like in the media, right? Like he's one of those guys who always fields the questions. He never shies away from the media and he always takes accountability. So I know it was clickbait, but when I saw people saying yesterday that we lost the game because Stanton couldn't hit a grand slam, it really got under my skin because, listen, I'm a Stanton fan, but I'm also a Stanton realist. One of the worst pinch hitters in all of pinch hitting history, like I said earlier. But bases clear and double, how could you be mad at that? We were down 6-1 and now we're down 6-5. And we still have a chance to win this game. But the rest of the team didn't pull through. He did what he had to do. He did what he was supposed to do, right? Like you can't be mad at that.
Yeah, and Michael, that's why she called it just a little sizzle. Any production is good production, and yeah, but we got to get so much more from Doogie than we're getting. I think everyone agrees about that. Yeah, Eunice, it was a dumb comment, and that's why we were both, Ciarra and I were both really just worked up about that.
And like I get it, it's clickbait. A lot of people on social media, influencers, micro influencers, whatever you want to call them, they're clickbaiting it. I'm guilty of being a troll to other teams and clickbaiting. Like, don't get me wrong, it's very fun to do sometimes. But when it comes to Stanton, I'm always ready to throw down, especially in that moment when he did exactly what you needed him to do.
That's right. He's my Brett Gardner. Because I did the same for Gardner until we saw the last of him, and that's how I'll go out when Stanton goes out. Okay, so the doghouse, ladies and gentlemen, go for it, Ciarra.
Yeah, I didn't even waste my time putting one person. They're all in the doghouse for me because we are 2-3 in our last 5 games, and as we've established, we play like trash against teams under 500. The pitching sucked. The position players sucked. The only person that like I want to call out specifically is Anthony Volpe
Ah,
because we talk about this freaking Gold Glove that he has, right? Which shout out to Anthony Rizzo for helping him get that. But we don't want to talk about that, do we? What is up with the bobbles? Like my guy Volpe already had 13 errors going into this week. Now he has 14, but like he's bobbling, he's not turning double plays. I don't know if he and Gleyber Torres switched bodies, but Volpe does not look good at shortstop right now. Like it's okay to bench him for a day because at
and,
this point he's not producing.
and they won't, and I don't understand it. And that Gold Glove is definitely tarnishing in a closet somewhere, because the 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 way that he's handling the ball when it's getting to him and bobbling it has cost us runs inevitably in the past few games. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a trend showing here that and would have been simple turn and toss plays, and
Mm-hmm.
he fields the ball good, but then when he has to handle it to even pivot to throw, it bobbles and goes away. What is that
Mm-hmm.
about? And my concern is that it's so unlike him and random to me. Do we have to worry about a hand problem there going on?
Or is
And
it a concussion from when he got hit in the head during that one collision?
and that got swept under the rug.
Just like
Just
Rizzo.
wait. Yep, let Rizzo be the cautionary tale there. Let's pray not. But that was a tremendous hit to the knee, hit to the head from the knee.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, so it makes me wonder because when he turns and has the ball and throws, it's still the arm on target. So there's something about that picking up the ball and grasping it in his hand to pivot and throw that has me concerned.
And you know what? And if it is a concussion, vision is one of the biggest things with concussion. So like if he can't, see the ball when he's grabbing it, like that's an issue. I mean, so is it an injury or did he get the Gleyber Torres yips and like he's in his head? I don't know. But we have
That
other options. We have Cabrera, we have DJ, we have Jazz. Like we can shake up that infield. And with how bad the infield has been this season, I don't think it would make a difference.
I'm with you, Lori, and it's so easy to get a custom made helmet made. I don't understand why they're foam rubber padding the back of the helmet. Clearly, that's not working. And guess what? That's not going to make it hold. If his hair is glossy and shiny and he washes it every day, it's actually going to make it worse. Go get a custom made helmet made. You're the New York friggin' Yankees, for crying out loud. Yep, and Sean thinks that maybe Volpe's pressing too or trying too hard. Um, you know, but I think that's always Volpe's way. I think he's always trying and pressing as hard as he can. But and believe me, I hope I'm wrong. I don't want anyone coming back and saying you made that happen, Lynn, by even mentioning it. But because it's so different for him, and because we've seen him adjust at the plate when necessary, um, and maybe he's just not getting it yet, and he's getting the coaching he needs on it. But it just makes me a little concerned. And yet, I think that um, there's numbers to hold up why he's in the doghouse, right, Ciarra?
Yeah, he has 14 errors. Like he's not like so his offense has been subpar. It hasn't been great. He had a good start to the season and then he fell off and he hasn't really picked it back up. Coming off of the All-Star break, he looked good for a few games, but honestly, he's been kind of mediocre, which is fine. But his defense has also sucked. And I think, look, Volpe's young. He's like 12 years old. He has time to figure it out. But it's okay to bench him. It worked for Gleyber. When they bench Gleyber, he's looked so much better. You can do it to other players. Like it clearly works. And it doesn't have to be done publicly. You don't need to yell at him publicly. You can have a conversation behind closed doors, take him out of the lineup. Like last season, I understand why he stayed in the lineup every day. We weren't playing for anything. He was developing. Like this was his development last season. But right now, like I've probably said 1,000 times today, we are in a pennant race. We are trying to win a World Series. We are trying to re-sign Juan Soto. Like there is so much at stake right now that we can't let these little mistakes, like they could cost us games.
And they are costing us games against the teams that we're supposed to get easy wins with. Um, so let's see what happens today because clearly he's in the. I'm gonna go right to this. I'm gonna go right to this. Because all right, my first hot take is moot now. It was gonna be about Schmidt. And God damn it, stop with the rehab, get him up already. Well, we know how that goes. But um, I'm going to say something that I don't want to be blamed for in the end, but we really we really might be getting into the postseason via the wild card. The way things are going right now, and the losses we're getting right now, and the number of them. And yes, I know the record. I know the wins loss column. I know that we're a game and a half back from the Orioles, who were and we are there because of the Orioles losing on pace with us, 1-1 basically. Um, so this was ours to have clean in. And you know what? Am I going to have to start managing my expectations on the wild card and getting in the easy way?
So, okay, so I have a theory on Clark Schmidt, and then I have a response to the wild card. So my theory on Clark Schmidt is we will see him this week. They technically haven't filled Will Warren's rotation spot yet, or Luis Gil's. So I'm wondering if they're going to just wait until I'm assuming that Schmidt would start Thursday or Friday. Personally, selfishly, I'm hoping for Friday because I'm going to the Cubs Yankees game, and I'm wondering if they're just going to activate him that day when he starts, because that does make sense. But the wild card, chat, turn off your ears because you're not going to like what I have to say. I'm okay with getting the wild card. I am, because guess what? Baseball is about momentum. And you know who has momentum? The teams who are in the wild card and don't have any rest. The Yankees don't play well on rest. We've learned this already. So, I mean, would it be great to win the AL? Obviously, I would love to win the East. But I'm not going to be upset if we get the wild card. Look at last year's World Series. Neither one of those teams should have been in that World Series.
True.
So anything can happen.
True. I think that where I'm coming from is the disappointment that, I mean, at the end of the day, who the hell cares how we get there as long as we get there? But we had the team at the beginning that was built for hot shot, fast run all the way to the full Megillah. And we have not been that team. We haven't even been that team for a long enough stretch to believe we had that team, except for the very beginning. And so it's been a really long time. And I just feel like, it's not a successful season if you don't win the World Series. And maybe it's me. And I'd love to know if how the chat feels about this. This could just be a Lynn hot take. I'm fine with that. I'm entitled to my own hot takes. And it's just that I would love to be able to say, that we were first place. We, went against, our division and got in with the pennant. Because we were the best team in the division at the time that it became about who's playing against a wild card game. So, and okay, good, Mr. Barrows. By the way, hi, good morning. And you disagree with me. Sorry, I did see you come in. We didn't get a chance to say hello. The Yankees will win the division and will play their best ball of the year. You are guaranteeing that, Mr. Barrows. Okay. All right. I don't know what wizardry you have, but I would love that. I would love that. and I'm a fan of managing my expectations. We're gonna get to the postseason, but it might be for a wild card game. Sorry. Um. So, what was your hot take, Scuff? What else do we have for a hot take?
um, just real quick before I jump into my hot take. So I don't think it's just a Lynn thing that if you don't win the World Series this season is kind of a bust. I think that's a Yankee fan mentality. And I had this conversation with a friend who is not a Yankees fan, because we've, not me personally, but like a lot of Yankees fans have seen a lot of wins through their year, a lot of World Series wins through their years. It's a different outlook. You're not used to the disappointing seasons. So this 15-year drought that we're in right now, it's rough. And I think so. It's not a you thing. I think it's a Yankee fan thing. But with that being said, my hot take, Alex Verdugo. I've been hard on him lately. He is going to have a Harrison Bader 2022 postseason run, and he is going to help Glaber and Stanton carry the team through the postseason.
So, is this a gut thing? Where
It
is this?
is.
Okay.
It's just a gut thing. Like I don't know what it is, but he's been so bad. He's got to turn it around at some point, right? And I remember in 2022, Harrison Bader, this guy comes over with a walking boot, and everybody's like, "Who the heck is this guy?"
Booty Bader.
He carried us in those playoffs. Obviously, we didn't make it very far, but we had a guy who went on a tear, like an unbelievable tear. And I see Doogie doing the same thing, and I see Stanton and Glaber doing their thing that they always do in playoffs.
Yep.
And you add in Soto, who is good in playoffs, and I think that we are just going to go on this absolute tear. We are getting to the World Series, but Verdugo is going to be a huge part of it.
Yep. And what you reminded me by mentioning Soto is, if Soto was ever going to be mentioned in the doghouse, it would have been this week. And I should have mentioned it because he just has not been, addressing the ball. But yes, I look forward to postseason. I'm looking forward to today, Soto. But
I'm looking forward to Anthony Rizzo today.
Yes, I mean,
see it.
1 o'clock can't get here fast enough. Nosebleed's hot take is that the Yankees win 15 more games and win the division by 3. Okay, you know what? Let's pray that into existence. Between you and Mr. Barros, I almost feel embarrassed by my hot take.
Love the positivity.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, and you're right. This drought. I mean, the fact that I'm glad we honored the 2009 team on Alzheimer's Day. But wasn't it also a little bit pathetic that
Oh my God, they embarrassed us.
Like, to this new stadium and all that other, but that's what it really struck me. I'm like, these guys were the last team, and that's just remarkable. And so, in terms of hot takes, they stole my Schmidt hot take about me, but I will say when he does get back, rotation, not bullpen. I really feel like we need him. So that's it for there. So then I guess that takes us to got any? Well, we talked a little bit before we jumped on about the IL and some changes there.
Yes, Luis Heel is actually going to start a rehab game today.
Okay,
so that's good.
Yep. So that's good news. What about what I read that Hamilton and this is something I'm not clear on with the 60-day IL and what he was originally on and was it retro or what, but now there's an extension because of another thing that popped up that is minor and they don't think is an issue, but a little bit of a pause on wherever Hamilton was on his path to coming back up.
Yeah, I mean, I think he had back spasms, and at this point, if we don't see Hamilton, I don't think it really makes a difference. And I'm sorry if that upsets some people, but we haven't had him so far this season. And I felt the same way about Frost and Trevino. Like, I'm happy to have the help, but I would have been happier if we had Marinaccio up here the whole time. And I understand it's a game of options and blah blah blah, But Marinaccio was one of our best relievers, and we
Yes.
kept sending the guy back down. Like what? Why is he being sent to the witness protection program? What did this guy do?
Yeah, seriously. Is
And
he?
also, Jake Cousins has been pretty good.
Yes.
I would be okay if he was our closer. I'm whispering that because I don't want to get yelled at, but give the guy a shot.
Yep. Looking really good. And then there's Poteet. We can't forget about your cousin.
I miss Cody.
Huh?
I said I miss Cody.
Yeah, I mean, why? Why the delay after delay? When are we ever going to get him?
You know what? I think the biggest issue right now is, like I said, there's so many people that were injured this season. There's nowhere to put them. Like, there's so many moves they have to make. And honestly, they could blow up the whole bullpen if they wanted to at this point, because let's face it, we have, 3 good relievers? But there's just so many players that got injured and were rehabbing at the same time. I think we had more people, like more players rehabbing than we did on our team. It was insane. We had more major league players on AAA than actual AAA players.
Yeah. Nosebleed saying that Cousins should be the closer.
No, he's saying no, he shouldn't be the closer.
Oh, he shouldn't be the closer. Got it. Okay. And yeah, Gregory, thanks. We know he was called up. The point was that should have been so much sooner.
Sorry, Ken, and sorry, Gregory. We talked about all the call-ups at the top of the show because they had just happened right before. So we did talk about Jason not being called up. We talked about Duke Ellis from Grey's Anatomy. And we talked about my favorite reliever, Marinaccio, and how he came back from the witness protection program.
Yeah. And I'm just really grateful that Kane Lee's been doing the thing, because he was a, no pun intended, wild card at the start, but when he first came back up, but boy, yeah. he's been instrumental.
So they showed the last time Kane Lee was pitching, they showed that he grew up in Latham, New York, which is super close to where I grew up, and I never knew that. So now I have this new I don't know. Now I have a soft spot in my heart for Tommy because we grew up close to each other.
Where in New York?
So he grew up in Latham, New York.
Oh, Latham by Albany.
Yeah, and I grew up in the same area, and I didn't know that. So now I have this soft spot because it's such a small area.
So look at that. And so now I have to bring up James Rawson very randomly. Very randomly. But James Rawson was honored by the city of Mount Vernon. Mount Vernon is right outside of the Bronx. It is where my sister Karen and I grew up. Although I always tell people that I'm really from the Bronx because, I went to school in the Bronx, as did Karen. So all our friends, all our hanging out was there, except for Brush Park, which was our neighborhood park. It was the Little League park and playground down the block from where Karen and I lived all our childhood. And it turns out I didn't know James Rawson was from Manhattan, from Mount Vernon, and a little leaguer in Mount Vernon. And so Mount Vernon pride for a change, and so and he was honored because of everything he's been contributing to the city of Mount Vernon. And there's videos of him with little leaguers coaching them at the plate and helping them with their swing. So, and he got a proclamation from the mayor. So I'm going to shout him out. I wasn't going to because, we had so much to talk about. But James Rawson, Mount Vernon native, good for you. Proud to come from your hometown. All right.
That's funny.
All right. So that's it for the Down Dogs. And so I think that really just brings us to the trivia question of the week. So I'm going to put it back up for everyone that came in while we were already going. In 1964, the Yankees faced the Cardinals in the World Series. The Yankees were up 3-2, but the Cards won games 6 and 7 to claim the title. This Yankees player later joined the Cardinals and helped them win the World Series again in 1967. So it was a player who left the Yankees to go to the Cards and was instrumental in them winning the trophy in 1967. I saw some correct guesses in the chat earlier. I'm seeing them again from FJ. Um, I'm seeing a new one from Eunice Elston Howard. That's a timely guess. Mr. Barrows is throwing down Roger Maris. So let's see. Let's see who's right. And it was indeed Roger Maris. That was new for me. I did not know that. Yeah, I did not know that he had to. That he left the Yankees. I just always thought of him as a career life Yankee. But that's really it. And so thank you again, Spencer, for the great question. And so we want to thank everyone in the chat for helping us fan the flames and tell us your takes on everything. And so don't forget, to like, share, follow, all the things. I think everybody else here is. But if you haven't clicked that thumb, please do it on your way out. It makes us feel good. And don't forget our Pinstripe Chronicle Brothers, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And Ciarra, any last word?
Yeah, Anthony Rizzo. I'll see you Friday in Chicago, and
Woo!
his first at bat in Chicago, he's gonna hit a bomb.
I love it. I'm so glad you get to be there for it.
Me too.
And so everybody, as always, you'll always have a seat on the upper deck with me and Ciarra. And for the love of everything that's good in the world, go Yankees!